What's good, everybody? This is Jeremiah Knight here, host for today's session. It's been a minute since we've met last. Things have happened between now and our last episode back in November. Here to have a sit down with you, let you know where we're at, what we're up to, what's in store for season 3, and to keep you guys in the loop. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Happy New Year, even though we're halfway through of it. Hope this message finds you well, and, well, let's start the show. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. Host with the most, producer, editor, podcaster, Jeremiah Knight, licensed marriage family therapist, and you're tuning in to Therapy House, the podcast. So let's start this session off right. To our returning listeners, thanks you guys for coming back and checking in on us. For the new ones, welcome. Hopefully you take something away from our experiences, the insight we share, or just the lessons we've learned and impact that on your life. That's the main goal of this whole thing. Be able to give out knowledge and stories to the masses, and hopefully you glean from it. Hopefully you guys learn something from it. Hopefully we make life a little bit bigger for you so you feel a little bit more free or inspired. If you guys were wondering, if you guys were missed, the answer is yes. If you're wondering, hey, Jeremiah, how come such a long hiatus since your last episode back in November? That's a little bit more of a complex answer. To be honest, I've been rewriting this episode a couple of different ways, a couple of different times, trying to explain kind of where we've all been, all the new developments that have been happening. And some drafts had a little information, but of course changes would happen, and so I had to rewrite it. Some drafts had too much information, and it just didn't feel good with me to share my group's business. In the end, it just came down to, I don't think these are truths for me to share. If I had to give an answer here, I can say that life has just been happening to all of us to varying degrees. As much as we would love to share that, hey, this podcast has been rocking and rolling. We have endorsements and promotions out the yin yang, and this is our main source of income. It's not, I mean, ideally it'd be perfect. You know, we had studios and all the gambit of things, but it's not. All of us have full-time jobs that we have to run. We have private practices. Some of us teach. Some of us have outside supervisees or emergencies to run and, quarterback. And so it's a lot to juggle, let alone that we all have families, significant others, other projects that we have to do, let alone figure out what to do about our own mental health and take care of ourselves. And so it's a lot to maneuver. With all that said, I felt that it would be more fitting if the guys were able to come on and give you guys updates personally. I feel like it really would capture more of their experiences, the good news and the good things that are happening in their lives, and it would just be more impactful for them to share it with their own words. In the meantime, I can tell you where I've been and what I've been doing, at least, my owning up to my gap in the hiatus, or my responsibility in the hiatus. So for me, when the podcast started, I was working at a well-known hospital in their child psychiatry as a licensed mental health professional. All was okay, I would say, at least until we went on strike, and I knew I had to get out of there. The long wait times, the increased amount of work to always be done, and the lack of support just wasn't cutting it for me. And so it was just time for me to start my own private practice and find other opportunities. Private practice was awesome in the sense of being able to own my own business, be able to decide my own workload, move at my own pace, and begin to start working with more adults outside of just working with parents, which was awesome. I think the challenges that came with it in growing my approach and adapting to it and working with the new set of complex issues was invigorating, and definitely brought me a lot closer to the therapy I wanted to create, but still something felt a little off about the approach. regardless, I still proceeded, and eventually I was able to earn a opportunity to work with separated couples in child custody, which was another realm of counseling and psychology that challenged me to grow in different areas and expand my knowledge on relationship dynamics and family dynamics, law, forensics, and really think about the idea of redemption. This piece of, could one person change for the better in order to be there and have access for their children, to be better parents? Of course, there are some days where working in child custody is hard, but there's definitely some moments where it's very rewarding, being able to give and help parents develop insights and working towards agreements, being able to talk to them and provide information to reassure them regarding child development and where the stages their children are, or how best to make the most out of their time together, even though it may be so little, and growing, was rewarding. And I would have loved to have say that from then on, private practice and working with these separated couples was awesome, which to some degree it was. But personally, behind the scenes, I was just not in the right place. I wasn't in a good place. Behind the mic, behind the podcast, behind the private practice and my work, I was screwing up. I mean, I was in a sense kind of living a double life. One person by day, this other person alone. And eventually it collided. I mean, I think it was just one day I realized that I wasn't actually who was living my life. I wasn't the person showing up in the relationships I was in. And this feeling of just not being happy and not being present and feeling like I have to fit in this tight box to succeed or to have the relationships I wanted or to be this person I wanted to be, it just wasn't real. It wasn't sustainable. And I had no choice but to just look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, it's time to go to therapy. There are a lot of feelings around going to therapy. A lot of peace and worry about, well, what will people say? A lot of therapists needing his own therapist. What will clients say? What will they think? Will they understand, or will that cause them to lose confidence in me? I think it also clashed with a lot of my own inner beliefs about, well, Jeremiah is somebody who is confident, is someone who is unwavering. He's very concise. He makes up his mind quick, and he's always on point. And to be honest, that was one of the things that kept me from seeking therapy for a long time. And once I got in it, man, I could say Dr. Dave, he picked me apart. And to be in a place so vulnerable with the thoughts that I was having, with the idea I had of my life and of myself, it did not feel good. It definitely felt like I was losing pieces of myself or going through this place in which I had to be accompanied by somebody, or I took this person along this journey through this place and not wanting to show him certain rooms, certain parts of the house. It's like I wanted to confine him to this one piece that looked spotless, the living room, where it looked nicely decorated and cleaned and tucked away. And it was like, no, Jeremiah, let me go into this room where your parents are. Let me talk to you about your friendships and your relationships in this other room. Like, what does that room look like? What is the room that you share with yourself? Like, what does that look like? And it just, there were some sessions where I just wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't happy with what he said. And, life still went on. Like, I still had friendships and relationships I still was a part of. I still had to go to work and I still had to do private practice. And it just felt like I was just broken. But through that, I was able to let go of a lot of things that weren't working for me. And I was able to develop insight around a lot of things that I had been holding these unrealistic expectations for, or these rigid rules that just weren't serving me and often kept me from being happy. I think there was definitely a big part of me that felt I had to remain and be this calm person because that was always rewarded or praised in my life or noticed by other people. And that's something that, oh, I'm valuable if I maintain this peace, this cool, this level of comfort. There's a big part that felt that, oh, people valued that I didn't speak up or I didn't cause fuss. And so that inspired me to keep bottling things up. That by not sharing, I allowed a lot of people in my life to take up more space and never really needing to listen to me because I didn't have to speak up. Or no one around me was ever really forced to change because I didn't express what I wanted from them or what I needed from them or that they were falling short of that. And the deeper we went, the more rooms we explored. Yes, there are moments where I just wasn't happy and I felt like I was, piecing back together this broken puzzle. But other times it felt like what I was putting back in allowed me for much more room to be and know me and be rid of some things that just weren't helpful, weren't suiting me. It allowed me to look at how I was defining these ideas of relationships and success and how I, quote unquote, needed to show up in the world. I realized that I was living within this facade that what I believed would achieve what I needed to survive. And this survival facade worked for many different reasons. It worked through high school, it worked through college, being on my own, develop my independence for a long time and for good reason. But I finally reached a point where the things I was protecting myself from, they were no longer there. There weren't people that were out there just trying to take advantage of me because I worked myself to a place where, yeah, I was safe. I was with good people. I was with people who I may have not seen at the time, but they were people that definitely were willing to hear me and want to know more about me and love me and willing to make changes, but I just didn't see it. I had a job that was very stable, that I didn't have to worry about being overly mistreated by, and the list would go on. And the life I was protecting or at least the way I was going about life in a way that protected me wasn't necessarily needed. And so it often led to more issues. And so by going to therapy and being able to look at these decisions I made and how I saw them and how I'm defining things and reworking them, I was able to better adapt to the life I wanted, the life I needed, and how much room how much room there was left for me to decide and explore, especially once things became decluttered, once my ceiling was lifted higher. It just felt like a breath of fresh air sometimes. Yeah. I mean, being able to wake up some days and just not have to worry about the next stressor or the next thing I want to avoid, or it was just be able to wake up and just a sigh of relief some days, or just have some excitement, or instead of having I have to do this, it was a lot of days where I felt like I get to do this. I got to find the passion within the work. I got to be more present in my relationships. I began to be more mindful about how I treat people and keep in mind of what environments and what people served me, because it made me a better person, because it allowed me to be free and not have to worry about X, Y, and Z. And that was more of the environments I wanted to be in. And so I sought after that. I think it also sparked my own journey of self-development and learning. And so I picked up more books and being able to explore things with my therapist that I had learned and experimented with outside of session. Eventually I began to start working on this piece of like perfection and my relationship to it. Eventually I began to explore more about, different ways people appear in relationships and define success and being able to know that that's all subjective. Like, you get to decide that. Being able to explore your mindset and realize that pretty much the only thing that's keeping you away from your dreams and what you want is you, and how far you believe you can go and how you believe you should get there. And so I remained in therapy for 2 years. I mean, it was, yes, therapy, and it provided me a lot of benefits of just being able to sit on the other side of a therapist who has done it for a lot longer and gave me some tricks and tips that I could use and implement in my approach. But this was a safe, healing relationship, like Irvin Yalom describes in The Gift of Therapy. Just somebody who you connect with on a this special level that doesn't judge, that also wants more for you to do well, to be yourself, be authentic, and be capable, or know that they deserve more. And just live it, just live life. And I took a lot from that. So we worked for 2 years, and things have been going well. But when we came to November, I had just been working with a lot of different things. I think even though I've came far in therapy and did a lot, there is still this nagging piece about, what I deserve, and am I the right person for this, and whether anybody would listen, or whether there was a point in any of this. And that was a big part of my relationship with creativity and creating, that it just got in the way of a lot of things, especially this podcast. I think there's still some parts of me that worries about whether this matters, or will it come out the way I envision it, or is this doing more harm than good? And it was just a weight on my head, because I think there's other parts of me that also took into account all the things I've done and the mistakes I made while I was in that survival mode, and I just couldn't escape it. And so towards the end of the year, I just decided I just needed to shut this thing down for a bit and kind of get my head right. I don't know. Sometimes the way I look back at it now, it just feels like it's a piece of self-punishment. That, yes, I came so far. I've worked on myself so much. I've done so much. And yet it's still not enough for all the things that I've done, the false life I've lived, and the people I've hurt along the way of it. This piece of self-punishment. Like, I should, even though I feel more free, I should still have to sacrifice. I should still have to give up something. I should still handicap myself in order to justify and make up for all of the wrong that I've done. And as a result, there's a lot of opportunities I turned down, or a lot of experiences I just avoided, or because I felt like I didn't deserve it. And I imagine there's a lot of us that are like that feel that we can't do something, even no matter what good we've done, or how much we've changed, or how much time has passed, that there still should be something that stops us, that we don't deserve to move forward. We don't deserve nice things. We don't deserve good opportunities because we did this thing, or because this thing happened to us. But it's us that's holding us back. It's you that's stopping you. And you have to admit that. It's not anybody else's fault but you. I think in that stretch between November and into the new year, I had to really, really face that. I think I had ideas that, someone would be out there pretty much talking shit, just like, who does he think he is? Whoop, 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 whoop. Or there would be someone that believes that I don't deserve this, or I shouldn't be the one that speaks up, or should be having their own podcast, or have such success. And I had to realize that that person I was imagining was something that I created. I was fueling this voice. I was fueling this self-punishment, or this belief that lowered my ceiling. And eventually I had to choose to go against it. I had to choose to want more. I had to choose to be happy. And I have. I think for all of us, we all have to choose at a certain point to be happy, to want something more for ourselves, to have a higher ceiling, to choose to deserve good things, choose to be an active participant in our life, choose to take care of ourselves. It's not just a feeling that you'll get one day, that you'll wake up and then, oh, there it is, right there on the dresser for me to take. I've suffered for just long enough, and finally the universe has shown me that now is the time. You have to make the choice. And so I decided. There's been other things that have kept me away from that, but one of the biggest ones has been that peace. I wish I could say that, hey, that one conversation before New Year's, and once the ball dropped, things changed from there. But no, there's plenty of times where this feeling of self-punishment comes back and reminds me that, oh yeah, you cheated yourself for so long, and you cheated others from getting the real you for so long, and yet each day you have to make that choice, the choice to live more of your life, to be more present, to seek the opportunities, to take advantage of them and try. And so here I am, and to challenge it more, just being able to get in front of this mic and bring you guys these episodes to remind myself that, it's worthwhile to find a point, to find a reason, to make it worth it, even if, one person listens, to make it the thing that I envision it to be, to make it worthwhile, and to trust that if I invite more, I'll be able to handle more, or I have the people around me to help me handle it more. So, as we talk about this coming season, what's in store, challenging myself, I want to bring you guys the same, interviews, and we talk to different people, friends, but I want to give you guys a little bit more about myself so you guys can feel what it would be like if you're in the therapy room with me. I love to give you guys different stories and different ideas of content, so I'll be experimenting a little bit. And of course, I'll bring the boys back on and have them update you guys on what they've been doing, how they've been doing, who they've been doing it with, and give you guys some ideas about books and hopefully some more insight on how to take more advantage, be more present in your life. The biggest takeaway I would love for you guys to do and take away from this episode would be, just to really reflect on how you get in your own way. What are you stopping you from? What are you keeping yourself from? With joys, passions, relationships? And how do you get out of your own way? Is that through books? Is that through meditation? Do you go to therapy? Find your own Dr. Dave? Either way, just do it for you. Do it for you. This has been another episode of Therapy House, the podcast, with your host, Jeremiah Knight. Thanks for tuning in. Of course, you can find us here, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify. You know where to find us. Of course, you can find us on Instagram, Therapy House Podcast, all one word. If you would like to join us, create some content with us, be on the episode, feel free to hit us up. Yeah. Happy to rock with you. All right, guys. Until next time, we got a lovely, lovely stack of episodes. This one will come out, and then we'll have another one coming up soon. So stay tuned. Look out for us. Love y'all. Peace.